Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, DisBearity here, and today I'm going to be showcasing this what do you call it? Total War Pharaoh Egyptian deep dive that they did today. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what it's about, but we're going to go ahead and check it on through. Now, before we dive on into it, definitely consider liking and subscribing if you guys want to see some more Total War gameplay and also Total War gaming news from me. Let's go ahead and head on into it. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and get it
The
going.
land of the Pharaohs, one of the greatest civilizations ever known. A new age awaits.
From what I hear,
As
yeah.
Meneptah's final
Sounds pretty
years
true.
are upon us, the eyes of the Egyptian court and its people look to the prospective new leaders of their land. These leaders will be the characters you get to command in Total War Pharaoh. But how did the Egyptians
I would hope so.
play? How will they stem the
I would
tide
hope
of the
so.
Hittites, the Canaanites, and the Sea Peoples?
So not only there will be the Egyptians, of course, there's the Hittites, the Sea People, and the Canaanites,
as well as the collapse of the Bronze Age.
but of course we're mostly only focusing on
Quick note
the
before
Egyptians.
we begin, Total War Pharaoh is currently in development, so things may change between this video and release. The UI colors are also a bit different from usual here, as I've got colorblind options applied to help out.
That is
as
perfectly
I don't
fine.
see some colors all that well. With this quick disclaimer out of the way, let's dive into the Egyptian factions. The prospective pharaohs of
The
Egypt
leaders
all have
of
their
Egypt.
own histories and links to Meneptah and the pharaoh's crown.
Butu.
On the border of Canaan in Sinai, we have Ramesses, begotten of the sun god Ra. Ramesses is young, ambitious, and ready to follow the path of greatness shared by his namesake, Ramesses II. A martial prodigy, Ramesses' youth brings him a speed and capability not shared by other characters.
Okay.
We'll need to utilize both of these in order to deal with the incursions at the Canaan border from the Great Raider, Ursu, whilst being aware of the dark cloud on the horizon.
So they just confirmed that each of the Egyptians, or basically every leader in the game, is going to be they're going to be a bit different, and mechanically to differentiate from each other.
Further along the river in Hardai, Seti, the son of Meneptah, skirmishes with the western desert tribes to prove his martial superiority and worthiness for the crown. While he's next in line to the throne by birthright, he would rather prove his worthiness with a display of power, a language he knows better than the parlance of the courts. Tauseret, on the other hand, has a very different approach to power than the other leaders. It's not about God-given rights or grandstanding, but having the keen mind and knowledge you will be a better pharaoh than them.
So she's the strategist of the
methodical
group.
genius,
Of the,
Tauseret's
leaders.
strength lies in her intelligence. She starts
Yep,
in the
thought so.
deserts of Yebu in Upper Egypt. Through synergizing her provinces to bolster her economy, and working alongside Seti and whoever else she can sway to her line of thinking.
Okay, so with that said there, I wonder how they're going to work mechanically. I'm guessing they're going to be like a separate faction, of course, or do you got like if you choose one faction or the other, or is it that let's say you defeat her, does she become part of your army as a lord or a general? I wonder.
She
Or
can
vice
maintain
versa.
the majesty of this ancient empire. And lastly, down in the south, we have Amenmes, the viceroy
Amenmes.
of Kush. Whilst Amenmes is the eldest male heir, Seti is the designated heir. As powerful as a title like Viceroy of Kush may be, it's not nearly as powerful or attractive as Pharaoh. Being the Viceroy of Kush does come with its benefits, however. Benefits like control over Egypt's gold mines.
Ooh, he
Amenmes
likes
knows
gold.
that the true power over man isn't blood, but money. And he'll use this truth to fight his way back up to Meneptah.
Or you could say gold or gold
buying
coins.
whoever he
I don't think
can
money would be the right
to
way to
take
say
back
things.
what he believes is rightfully his. With our leaders set on the stage,
How they play.
let's take a quick look at what makes them mechanically unique in their grab for power.
Okay, so what he just said there, kind of what I said about earlier, mechanically unique. So what he means by that is because this is a Bronze Age historical quote unquote game, then every faction, for the most part, is going to have very similar units. So the only way they can go ahead and try to like differentiate themselves between each other is through their mechanics. Whether let's say Ramses' archers have better longer range, and his melee combatants do better melee. I don't know, stuff like that. As an example.
Each journey to the pharaoh's crown can take a multitude of paths, playing to their individual strengths. Starting with Ramesses, as a militaristic leader, he is an exceptionally capable warrior, efficient with any weapon handed to him. His elite warrior status is something
So it doesn't
also
matter what he
shared by his
uses.
armies, as while they are smaller in number, they are stronger and more elite than your average foot soldier. Not only does he wield incredible martial prowess, but he also harbors incredible speed, both on the field and in the courts. Per turn, he
Wait,
gets
see,
2
did I just see
court
C?
actions, while
So
other
naval
leaders
battles
only
confirmed,
receive
maybe?
1. His unique buildings also factor
That would
his
be
standing
kinda
within
crazy.
the court
It's true.
and amongst his people. The necropolis of the honored dead bolsters happiness and influence within provinces. The wine markets also improve happiness. As one would imagine,
Yeah, I would hope
the
so.
military academy brings out the best in his men, raising recruitment rates and making generals cheaper to recruit. It also fortifies the soldiers with a steady amount of experience, ensuring they do not head into the field greener than their counterparts. Seti, meanwhile, in many ways runs as an opposite to Ramesses. He cares little for the court, and prefers to speak in a language he understands fluently: war.
All about melee confrontation.
Thankfully for him, he starts with an improved standing with Tauseret, who understands the courts and diplomacy like the back of her hand. His starting army is large, and he begins his journey near
So,
all
it sounds
5
like that she
resource
can
settlement
backstab
types,
people.
meaning he can kickstart his economy.
But you know, Seti's
quite
all about that
early,
upfront
provided
personal
he
warfare.
removes whoever is controlling those settlements.
Like, if
nearby.
you want to play Total War, like, he's the
Seti's
guy.
unique buildings exemplify his
That's
love
what
for
I'm
war,
seeing, or
his
hearing.
depiction of ego, and his genuine lack of care for what anyone else thinks. The mustering office increases recruitment.
Okay.
slots.
So I feel like this is a missed opportunity here with at least the unit cards. I'm always gonna bring that up. Unit cards could have been so cool in this game. Really could have been. I mean, especially if you made them in the style Rome 2 or something like that. It would have been nice. Now these could still be placeholders though, so you never know.
As well as decreasing the cost of enlisting troops within a province. The Recruitment Administration Center further drives down recruitment costs, whilst allowing you to train more troops, at the expense of the new enlist's well-being. Meanwhile, the Tax Administration Palace continues its own way of obtaining spoils of war from amongst the populace, increasing production greatly at the cost of workforce growth and happiness. Lastly, the Seti's Royal Palace, showcasing the kind of boisterous
Seti's
nature
Royal Palace.
befitting of a prospective pharaoh of his stature.
Oh, that means
His
he's a
troops
dick,
look on
because you
with
know why?
improved
Once you built that
morale,
Royal Palace,
whilst all
minus
other
all 5
factions look upon
minus
it
5 to
as
diplomacy to every
unnecessary
faction.
grandstanding
Perfect.
from a potential tyrant. Tauseret, meanwhile, understands the importance of structure and production lines, especially in trying times such as these. She starts with improved diplomatic relations with Seti, meaning she may gain assistance from Seti's forces. Militaristic might isn't Tauseret's main strength or plan, however.
That
It's
makes sense
production.
because that makes sense because she's an intelligent woman, or as I say, a strategist. So she's not built for the melee combat. You know, best she can do is range. You know, so I can see that. Yeah. So he just said right here that she's best known for production. So that means that her economy should be really strong.
Unique structures may not bring happiness and joy to her people. They are a necessary slight. The provisioning headquarters, Tauseret's armory, Tauseret's goldsmiths, and the storage center all provide their own powerful buffs, but they really begin to shine when you plan out your construction. Her machinations can be fragile, but once Tauseret gets the ball rolling, she is a power with a momentum that cannot be stopped. Lastly, we have Amenmess. As Viceroy of Kush, he has sway over his Egyptian counterparts, as he starts already with a standing within the Egyptian courts. His unique structures symbolize his standing, as both a power over the Kushite people and as a man who recognizes gold's strength. The Kushite delegate school may be looked down upon by Amenmess's people, but it fosters growth in the workforce within the province, alongside increasing production, as well as improving diplomatic relations with non-Egyptian factions. The hidden rooms also provide a great boost in all resources, happiness, and even legitimacy to
really
the throne at a very heavy cost
That
of
is
gold.
strong.
But this cost means little to Amenmess, considering he has access to the gold mine labor villages. The amount of gold produced by this structure is very high.
If you need gold, you better be a friend with him.
Influence may drop at the horrific reality of gold's manufacture, that's of no consequence when he can pay someone to look the other way.
Facts.
The lands of Egypt are vast.
The armies of the land.
The Egyptians are
So let's see if I'm right
masters of
for what I
desert
said earlier.
and surgical strike
Mechanically.
warfare. The units native to each region of Egypt bring their own strengths to conflict. If you wish to bring these units into your armies, You'll need to either branch out your conquest to these locations and take them by force, or foster diplomacy, alliances, confederation, and vassalization. On the border of Canaan, you'll find the Sinai and Retjenu militia. Their forces contain a mixture of
The
both quite
NPCs.
expendable units to hold lines or harass, and very valuable additions to bolster your damage output. Being on the border of Canaan, they do have many units in medium armor to stand toe-to-toe with Canaanite forces, and some of their number also have decent armor piercing and breaking capabilities.
Alright.
In Lower Egypt, there's a decent mix of melee and ranged units to be found.
Okay.
This mix, however, does come at a bit of a cost, as they are not what you would particularly consider to be fine or noteworthy. They aren't a write-off, however, as many in their number have resistance to heat. And
Now,
while they
what
may
got
lack skill,
everyone a lot of,
they do
you know,
make up for
a lot of
this
people
in
concerned is
number,
chariot
perfect
combat.
for any
They want
would-be warrior
better
pharaohs
chariot combat has
who
not really been too
strength
well in
in
Total War in general,
overwhelming numbers.
at least in my opinion.
In contrast, the forces of Upper Egypt are a potentially very powerful addition to your defensive garrisons. Many Upper Egyptian melee units utilize medium armor, with the occasional light armored units to harass
We
and
got
provoke
slingers here.
any enemy unwise to stand against them.
Javelin or
This
Peltis.
doesn't mean they're a slouch when it comes to offense, however. Like the
Of course,
rest
archers.
of the Egyptian forces, they do have speed
Yeah, that
on
match
their
combat is
side,
amazing.
and they're exceptionally capable.
I will say that, but it
flankers,
needs blood.
meaning they're able to deal big damage while holding out against.
This
any
game does not look
attackers
good
of
without
their
blood.
own. In the deserts to the west lie the Lebu tribesmen and the West Desert natives. The Lebu tribesmen forces are unparalleled desert warriors, fighting on sand as though it were mere ground. Resilient to the sweltering heat of high noon, they can march unharmed through attrition zones in the desert, and the blistering sandstorms that cross the dunes do little to affect their combat prowess.
So that means that you're going to really just like, you got a couple of choices here. If you're in the battlefield, then you got to walk your units, don't run unless there's artillery involved. I don't think there's going to be artillery in this game. I'm not for sure. I mean, so far I haven't seen artillery other than siege units. Anywho, yeah. So you got to walk during the sandstorm or during just a hot day or whatnot, because these guys are just going to outlive you. But your units will have exhaustion while they're so, or it'll be at a slower pace really because they adapted.
They are the masters of the deserts, and when war reaches through the land and the sandstorms roll in, you'd better pray to whoever you worship that they're on your side. And in the south of the map, you'll find the Nubian and Kushite forces. The Kushites and Nubians are primarily built around the strength of their archers. They have expendable units who can harass and keep enemies preoccupied, whilst archers with exceptional range rain down the arrows. The archers can also be defended with other units from this region, as there's decently skilled and armored spearmen and clubmen amongst their ranks. And lastly, there are the Pharaoh elite. When you take the crown, you'll have access to some of the best of the best. Highly disciplined fighters, adorned in medium armor. Having just one of these units amongst others can turn the tides of battle in your favor.
I wonder if
It's
anybody
not
can.
just the
Well,
lands
well,
who
he
bring
just said anybody
units
can have
into
access to
play.
that. So yeah,
Each leader comes with their own troops,
Okay, then.
unique to their army.
I like that idea.
playing to their strengths. But Ramesses' unique forces very much build upon his strengths as a leader. The Medjay and Sheridan that make up Ramesses' forces may not have the numbers that other factions exhibit, but their status as elite warriors who can adapt to whatever situation is before them makes them a very formidable force. Fast and adept at flanking, many of his troops also have the underdog trait.
I wonder if that's the tier of the unit there, because it has the total, the Warhammer, what do you call it? Tactic style or unit information. So I guess that's unit. I guess there's going to be 5 tiers of units. I mean, it has to be, right?
Meaning they thrive in fighting against multiple units at once, potentially outnumbered but rarely outclassed. Ramesses' retinue are a balanced and highly capable force. The levy soldiers that make up Seti's unique forces combine well with how he prefers to wage war. The lower tier units that make up his unique retinue compensate for their lack of skill with
They're probably gonna be
enhanced
expendable.
numbers, and from a
Yep,
pragmatic
thoughts.
view,
So-
the expendable trait.
Yep, thought so. So lightweight class, easily tired. So oh my god, yeah, they're gonna be the first ones in the road. They're definitely gonna be walking in the front, and they're pretty tanky because of their HP. Let's see. Then we have expendable. Then they're only tier 2, so that's interesting.
Seti's more elite troops won't rout, or potentially care upon seeing the lower tier units, meet the jackals of Anubis. The more elite units in his personal militia are highly capable
Jackals
warriors,
of Anubis.
if a tad undisciplined. Many of them have the heedless charger trait.
Oh, they'll charge
meaning
by
they
themselves?
won't wait for orders to simply charge headlong into battle. Perhaps they
Well,
seek
I'm
to
glad
find
they kind of brought
glory
that back.
in their
At least I haven't
leader's
seen it in newer Total
Or
Wars.
maybe
Or
they're
that
simply
I haven't been paying
emulating an
attention.
anger
But I like
they've
that.
seen from him all too often.
That's cool. Because it just gives me reminds me of Rome 1 and Medieval 2.
Devastating power of chariots. The speed and range of the chariots at her disposal mean they can cause a lot of damage to the enemy, whilst staying out of harm's way. That's not to imply that she only has chariots, however. Tausret's infantry offerings, such as the steadfast Queen's Guard,
As for
have
flanking,
excellent defensive
defensive.
capabilities and the speed to get to where they're needed as soon as possible. As talented as the archers in Tausret's army are, very few can compare to the forces that Amenmes's deep pockets can buy. The Kushite, Nubian, and Tarseti archers are among some of the most skilled and most feared in all of Egypt. With excellent range and devastating attacks, the archers Amenmes can field are an immediate threat to any force.
Oh, I want to go back and I thought skirmisher though. What is
Melee
that?
units within his
Skirmish, like,
retinue,
is that skirmish
including
mode,
the
or-
Kushite Royal Guard,
So what is this here? Weight class medium, strong against shields, resistance to flanking, a special missile weapon.
also have a ferocious
That's a
fight,
tier 4 unit.
making Amenmes's forces a terrifying sight indeed.
So that is tiered units.
We've covered the leaders you'll command and their motives, the armies they'll control, and the forces that await to join under their banners. There are dark days ahead. With the collapse of the Bronze Age on the horizon, how will you ensure that your people and your empire survive this apocalyptic event? With what we've covered in this video, we hope you're inspired to become a great pharaoh that history would be proud of. Are you ready to take on the mantle of pharaoh?
Me sure, why not? Me sure, why not? All right, let me go ahead and give you my final thoughts on this here, y'all. All right, so my final thoughts on Total War Pharaoh is that it's honestly starting to look pretty damn good, at least in my eyes. I feel like with so much they're showing off, they're really confident in Total War Pharaoh. Like they're like really showing a lot more information now than I could think possible. But I also believe that they're probably showing off a lot of information because of the Total War Warhammer 3 DLC that they're probably going to be showing piece and piecemealing or whatnot every couple this summer or whatnot. There we go. Sorry. And so this, like I said, the showcase was not too bad. That's cool that they're trying to differentiate each leader, Egyptian leader. I guess they're going to be doing that for every other faction, of course, to make them feel unique and different. Because, like I said, it's the Bronze Age. You can't. There's only so much you can differentiate, especially in a historical title. Like how each lord, again, they have their own little mechanics that makes them different from each other. They have their army mechanics that makes them different from each other. So, Total War Pharaoh, when it first was shown off, honestly, I was giving it like a 20 to 25%. And as of right now, though, I'm gonna give it at least a good 60 to 70 because it's showing up and it's looking pretty good in my eyes. I want you guys to let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section below. Like, I really want to know what y'all think, how Total War Pharaoh is going to be. Do y'all still believe in it? Do y'all not believe in it? Just let me know. So thank y'all for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely consider liking and subscribing. That would be very much appreciated. Thank y'all. You guys have a good one. Peace out. Much liberty. Bye. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also hit the bell notification down below. Thanks for watching.